Hey guys, welcome back, it's Maverick here, and today we are watching the grand finale of Violet Evergarden. Now, I say that, but as some of you have pointed out, there is actually another episode 14, which I guess for most would probably be an OVA, but it is an episode 14 and so on and so forth, so it continues on the main story, right? And apparently there's also a sort of like a kind of spin-off movie, and then an actual sequel movie and whatnot. So, anyways, we got a lot of other stuff to look forward to. We're definitely not done with this by any means. Although, I'll see what I can do about that in the future, right? At this point, though, we are still looking at how they are going to end this particular season. Well, I'm expecting, at the very least, for Dietfried to eventually, in the end, come to terms with the fact that, hey, his little brother loved Violet Evergarden, his little brother just wished the best for Violet Evergarden, and protecting Violet is the same as protecting his brother's will and legacy and love, right? Because it certainly would be nice to see Dietfried give some respect to Violet for a change. So, in any case, let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Yeesh.
俺が捨てた道具はギルベルトの犬になった。だが両腕を失い、主を失い、何もかもなくしたその果てに、なぜかそこに立っていた。
Yeah. Oh, out of bullets, dude. Don't tell me like they're going to like blow up the bridge or something like that. Woof. Yeah, I do feel like Dietfried. Guys, there's still an enemy behind you. Can you, like, apprehend him first? Yeah, this is definitely going to be a bridge blow-up scene, isn't it? Yep. I mean, it only makes sense, right? Oof. Just one hand as well. Alright, dude. What are you gonna do? Oh. Okay. Goodbye, I guess. So she needs to engage the brakes. Oh no! Holy shit, she's literally just... Is this dude wearing heels? Okay, never mind. Wow. Why is this guy so athletic as well? Her. Nice. Nice, Benedict. Though I'm certainly quite surprised that he didn't break his leg.
ガルダリクおよび雷電シャストリヒの両国は国際平和と安全を維持するために主権を有する
Leidenschaftlich.
相互に連携を行う。そのために直ちに公正な貿易を再開し、雷電シャフトリヒは友好の証として緊急支援物資を1年分提供する。以上ここに両国の和平を調印することを誓う。
Nice.
終わりました。
どうした？
終わったのに。戦争は終わったのに。息子は帰ってこない。もう息子は諦めようと妻に言ってるんだ。でも
わかります。よくわかります。
手紙にはこう書いてくれるかな。俺たちのところに生まれてきてくれてありがとうって。
No, stop.
では航空祭事務局の方へこのお手紙を届けておきます。当日このお手紙が空から届けられますので、自動式人形サービスのご利用誠にありがとうございました。遅くまでご苦労様。お客さん多くて大変だったでしょう。問題ありません。航空祭しばらく戦争で中止になってたし、5年ぶりだからみんな楽しみにしてるのよね。明日が締め切りだからもう一日頑張りましょう。
はい。
頑張ります。私もね、手紙書こうかなって思ってるの。道路になる前、私踊り子してたの。
Sugar.
お店には軍の人もたくさん来てた。亡くなった人も随分いてね。その人たちに書こうかなって。バイオレットも書いてみたら？私はまだ自分の手紙を書いたことがありません。じゃあ記念すべき初めての手紙ね。今のあなたが思う通りに書けばいいのよ。心のままにね。心の。少佐。
なんだ。
私はもうご不要ですか？
何のことだ。
処分されるとか、ホッチンズ中佐のもとへ移されるのでしょうか？少佐に命令はいただけないのでしょうか？
君はそんなに私の命令が欲しいのか？
命令は私のすべてです。
私の命令はこの戦い以降聞かなくていい。いや、誰の命令も聞かなくていい。自由に生きなさい。
それがご命令ですか？
どうして命令だと思うんだ。私が本当に道具だと思っていると。そうなのであれば幼い君を抱いて帰りはしなかった。君をずっと私だけのそばに置かなかった。分かっているはずだ。怒っているのも辛いのも君を。
少佐。
I mean, she doesn't understand that, though.
私と同じ心があるだろう。ないというのなら、ないというのならその顔は何だ。そんな顔ができるんじゃないか。今私のことが怖いだろう。急に怒鳴られて嫌だろう。
わかりません。
つだろ。
わかりません。
嘘だ。
嘘ではありません。自分でもわからないのです。私は少佐の命令を聞いていたいのです。少佐の命令があればどこにでも行けるのです。それだけなのです。
すまなかった。
It does make you wonder though, like how her education process would proceed if, you know, the war had ended, these two have both survived unscathed.
君はまだ私のことを信じて。君は悪くない。もう数時間で決戦だ。この話はまた今度にしよう。
So Violet finally understands what he was saying at that time.
書けなかった？
心はあるのです。あったのです。あの時も。ですが、わからないのです。少佐に何を伝えたいか？
バイオレットちゃん。まだ時間はあるよ。締め切りは今日の夕方だけど、朝までに書ければ俺が事務局に持っていく。だから書くんだ。短くても一行でもいいから。
Is it going to be like one sentence and that's going to be the episode title?
バイオレットにブーゲンビリアさんとおっしゃるお客様が。ありがとうございました。
Of course it's...
交代だ。
Yeah.
昨日まで航空祭の手紙の代筆で忙しかったんだろ。今日は休みなのに会うのが俺で悪かった。
いえ。
大殿のうちの屋敷には来たことはなかったな。驚かないように言っておくが、少し記憶が曖昧になっている。
There?
母だ。
Huh.
あなたは？
バイオレットです。母上が会いたいと。
ああ、そうだったわ。あの子がここに引き取ってほしいと。
Huh.
やっと来たのね。
はい。
あら、でももっと小さな女の子だと思っていたのだけれど。あれはいつ
4年前です。
ああ、そうね。フォルネムの本宅から連絡が。ギルベルトは一緒ではないの？
母上、ギルベルトは。
一緒です。
あの子の瞳と同じ色だわ。
少佐の瞳と同じ色です。
美しいわね。
はい。言葉がわからなかったので言ったことはありませんが、少佐の瞳は出会った時から美しいです。美しいです。
それであなたギルベルトとはどういう？
少佐は私を拾い育て使ってくださいました。ですが、
わかってるわ。インテンスの戦いであの子は。
そうです。その話をするために来てもらったのでしょう、母上。
I gotta say, Dietfried. I don't know if it's just.
せいではないわ。あなたが背負わなくていいのよ。リートフリートはね、もうギルベルトのことは諦めろというの。あの子だってできはしないのに。二人はね、子供の頃からそれは仲のいい兄弟だったのよ。あの子は生きてる。
In their hearts.
心の中で。
Mm-hmm.
だから決して忘れない。思い出すたびに辛くてもずっと思って生きていくわ。だって今も愛しているんだもの。
One last thing to say.
あいつの分もお前は生きろ。生きて生きて生きて、そして死ね。俺からの最後の命令だ。
もう命令はいりません。
俺が捨てた道具をギルベルトは道具として扱わなかった。だからそれは両腕を失い、主を失ってもあいつからもらった大切なものを決して
I like this.
なくすことはないだろう。
I mean, it's inevitable, but I do like the whole method that this developed, right? The visuals, the music, holy shit. That was a great scene. Ah.
よかった、来られたのね。航空祭の代筆であなたも忙しかったでしょ。いえ、でもたくさん手紙を書きました。初めて自分の手紙も。そっか、私も書いたわ、両親宛てに。きっと届きます。ありがとう。私も書きましたよ。未来の自分に。
That's so like you.
すごい野望ね。エリカさんは何を書いたんですか？最近好きな人ができたので、その人に気持ち。誰ですかそれ？誰ですか？
おい。俺の手紙の内容知りたいか？
They're like, no, we don't want to know. Ah.
実はさ、ホッチンズ宛てに書いたんだ。将来俺が社長になるって。
おいなんてこと書いてんだよ。
人のこと言えないでしょ。あなただって何書いてんのよ。
Ah.
いつの間に。
じた手紙が社長室のゴミ箱からいっぱい溢れ出てたわよ。パパ。
君がパパと呼ぶな。
ば
やめろ。
パパは君が生まれる。そして祈ってる。君がすくすく育つことを。
Just accept it.
幸せになることを。誰かを愛し、愛されることを。そして君や君の子供たちの生きる未来が争いのない幸せであふれた世界でありますようにと。
Hmm? What? Okay. Sudden transition into a song. Okay. And an English one at that. And so here we go. Oh no, it's not just one sentence. Alright. Aishiteru. I finally understand. Oh man. Oh god. This scene. Oh my god. And of course, violet flowers in the background. So, Aishiteru. Of course. Of course. Although I almost feel like maybe just having... well, okay, never mind. That works. Okay, one last time. The complete ending. Oh, man, that last scene, man. Ugh. Ugh. Those walking away scenes really get me. You know, it doesn't have to be like this kind of death and whatnot, but just these symbolic visual of walking away from something, turning away from something forever. It always gets me. Okay, so what is the very end here? Okay. Well, see you guys after this. And of course, they just had to put that little self-introduction at the very end there. Violet Evergarden at your service one last time, right? Because I'm assuming at the release of this particular series, they weren't really sure if they were going to make further episodes, further movies, perhaps even further seasons, right? So they just got to put that in as a sort of, an ultimate reminder of who Violet Garden is right now. So love it. And honestly, this entire episode, and indeed this entire series, I really don't think there's any other way to describe it other than it being a complete and absolute masterpiece. Especially for the ending part here, the train thing notwithstanding, let's just put that aside for now. The part where Violet eventually came to terms with Dietfried, or well, I guess that's not exactly a good way to put it, but they came to terms with each other. Let's put it that way, right? The way that the entire situation played out, and indeed, with Violet finally ending the chapter of Gilbert within herself as well at the very end there, I honestly could not have asked for a better development in story-wise and whatnot. So, like, the part with Dietfried and all, I think it was really brilliant to actually bring the mother character out, because, it's honestly a lot. It honestly works a lot better than if it was just Violet and Dietfried having their own one-on-one conversation. Instead, you bring in this neutral third party who, who loves Gilbert absolutely equally, if not even more than either of these two. So it makes a lot of sense, right? You can only, people are all in mourning, right? But since Dietfried and Violet were on, not exactly good terms throughout all this, it only makes sense to have this third party who can share the same pain, share the same experience, but is, how can I put it, mediating this through a neutral perspective, right? So I do love that, and like I said, there's really not a better development I could have asked for it. We get to see Dietfried's side as well, even though, we've already seen in the last episode, or heard in the last episode from Dietfried himself how much he loved his brother, and the entire hostility he's showing towards Violet is because he loves his brother Gilbert so much and he blames her for it. But it's further reinforced this episode by the pictures we see, by the words of the mother, and indeed, I don't know if it's just like me or something, but I do think there's a subtle change to Dietfried's entire character, especially his facial expressions. They definitely softened up a lot, and I think the fact that he's in casual clothing also adds a lot to the softening of his character as well. And indeed, that's I'm gonna get into like the animation and visual parts later on, but the visual expressions, particularly in the entire Dietfried and Violet and the mother scene, that is definitely the highlight of that particular mini arc, I guess you could call it as well, right? The facial expressions that they each show, the subtleties between it, and so on and so forth. So absolutely love it, and of course ending at the point where Dietfried himself is, you can see that, you can see it there, right? The fact that he's trying to order her, one last time is because he's finally fully accepted, how important Violet is, and now he's also wanting only the best for her as well, right? But then for Violet to also be like, no, I don't need orders anymore because I am now free, I'm independent, I can make my own decisions, and indeed this is what Gilbert would have wanted. They both understood that as well, right? So love it. I absolutely, you express so many things just because of that, both on Dietfried's side and on Violet's side as well, and it's just great, right? And so, even after all that, the air show and whatnot, like, sure, I mean, it's kind of like sudden and whatnot, but I mean, it's basically just an excuse for Violet to write her letter, right? And obviously, the entirety of build up to a very end there, with Gilbert walking away in her memories and whatnot, like, honestly, that really did get me. Like I said, this kind of scene actually do get me, making a conscious decision to do something, to do away with something forever, to walk away. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really have to be this sort of life and death kind of thing or memory kind of thing. It could literally be the choice between, like in a love triangle, the final decision, like which side to choose, and so on and so forth. Like those kinds of really, very serious, I am making a decision and this decision is not going to change in the future, this is permanent, this is forever, right? Like that kind of situation does get me a lot. And so I do like that at the very end, and choosing a rather, one of the few, I guess, really, how can I put it, really heartwarming and really peaceful memories of Gilbert and Violet, right? All the other ones, it was basically somewhat in the mansion or in the military, on a mission, etc., etc. That was one of the few times when they both had, the leisure to go out and just, be like normal people for once, right? And so utilizing that scene, that was also a great choice as well. And yeah, I mean, that's basically the best way to end it, right? Violet herself has came to terms with this finally, and yeah, and then we just continue on and see what she does. So that was in the story portion of things, but honestly, another thing I really want to talk about for this episode is in the animation, the visuals, and of course the sound again. I mean, don't get me wrong, Violet Evergarden has been amazing in this regard throughout these 13 episodes so far, but this particular episode, it really drove home this point once again, right? I think my favorite scene out of all this is actually the one where it was at night in the city, Violet's still writing her letter, and it starts snowing, right? And that scenery, those visuals, coupled with that music, oh my god, that was so great. My only complaint about that scene is that it was way too short. I could literally get another 20-30 seconds of that, and that would be awesome. And then, of course, at the very end as well, as Violet is gradually, reciting the letter that she wrote to Gilbert, the scenery changes there, and so on and so forth. Like, it's, you have the way that Violet Evergarden, the production team draws or the animation team, I guess, draws the backgrounds, draws the scenery, that is really awesome, more than anything. And the facial expressions I already mentioned before, right? That's also something that I took particular notice of in this particular episode, mainly because it's also really important here. I'm sure that it probably is of the same quality in all the other episodes as well, but it really stood out to me in this episode. How really observing the various characters, through each line and dialogue, how their facial expressions subtly changes. And especially for someone like Dietfried, that's also very, that's also very important as well, because he is, through most of it, mostly a stoic character, right? So being able to observe it through Dietfried, that is definitely, I feel like, the best example that I can give right now. So basically the visuals, that's so good. So good. And I mean, I kind of like completely skipped over the train thing and whatnot, because there's really not much to say, right? And the various setups and whatnot, basically the entire thing was just to let Dietfried understand what exactly Violet is and what she represents, and what her ideals are as of right now, right? So I mean, it's basically an entire setup to the eventual sort of ending between Violet and Dietfried. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. Obviously, I think at this point I just have to accept that our main group really can do some pretty superhuman things, right? Like Benedict jumping off from a bridge and kick dropping the bomb, which actually was tightened there enough that Violet literally ripped her hands out and I mean, whatever, right? Whatever. That's not the important part here. Although, I don't know, has Benedict also been in the army before? He certainly seems to have the moves like one. But yeah, anyways, that's it for that. There's really, typically I like to do like a final sort of summary after I end an entire series. I know there's still episode 14. I know there's still all the movies and whatnot, but I feel like this is a good place to put this, right? Violet Evergarden absolutely, to me, is a masterpiece. Just based on visuals alone, you can literally put it there, right? And not to mention the story, the plot. Now, I will say though that it's probably not for everyone. A lot of people will probably, judging by the comments that you guys have left, a lot of people were definitely very, very moved by every single episode and whatnot. I mean, I certainly appreciate the quality that goes into the episodes. Some to me are a little bit more. I get it, but it's definitely not as impactful to me as some of the others. But everybody is different, right? You can't really expect everybody to have the same sort of reaction to a particular plot line or a particular episode. But I think objectively speaking, it is definitely structured really well, and there's not really too much that you can nitpick about all this, right? At a bare minimum, taking a step back and looking at this through a more neutral lens, there's nothing less than masterpiece that can be used to describe this, right? So I don't know. That's, at least for me, anyways. I feel like I can safely say that even if I don't enjoy every single one episode, right? I can recognize the quality that's gone into here. I know, like for instance, let me bring up an example. Like Space Odyssey 2001, right? That is definitely a masterpiece, regardless of whether you like the the topic or in this day and age, if you still like the story and whatnot, right? Certainly to me, Space Odyssey 2001 is not my favorite sci-fi movie of all time, but I look at it and I can recognize objectively how brilliant of a movie it is, right? And the same goes for Violet Evergarden here. I think if you're a fan of anime, indeed, this is a must watch. I gotta say, if only for the way that they structure the story, and of course the visuals and the music / BGM. Now, I guess I do have one very specific nitpick about this series though, which is the name Evergarden here, right? I don't know if maybe this is something that's going to be that we're going to expand on within the movie, or maybe episode 14, or either one of the two movies or whatnot. But I do feel like that's kind of important here, right? I mean, the series is literally titled Violet Evergarden, not just Violet. And yet, throughout all the memories and whatnot, Gilbert certainly only gave Violet the name Violet, and indeed, basically what I'm saying here is why is the Evergarden name important, right? What does that actually mean to Violet? What does that actually mean to this entire series? I would have thought that it would be a much bigger thing, but apparently not. I mean, seriously, this is called Violet Evergarden, right? Not Violet Bougainvillea, right? I think that's what their name is, Bougainville, or something like that. So I don't know. I personally still have a lot of question marks about that Evergarden part. So I don't know. I do feel like it's probably going to be touched upon sometime in the future or whatnot. But whether it is adapted or maybe only light novel, I mean, somewhere far down the path or whatnot, maybe that is also something to look forward to, right? I mean, I can totally see with the way that they like to structure the story and whatnot. The author likes to structure a story that perhaps the point where we learn the full story between the Evergarden name and how important it is to her is probably also when the entire series or light novel as a whole is ending as well, right? Similar to as we have right at the end of this, how she finally signifies and embodies the Violet name, and that is how important it is to her, and maybe something similar will happen to the Evergarden name as well. But anyways, that's kind of getting beside the point now. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for this episode, and definitely I am going to continue on to episode 14, so stay tuned for that. The 2 movies, honestly, I might have to figure out some other time to do it, and it's definitely not going to be right after episode 14, but, no, we'll see, right? I'll try to, because typically for movies, I need to clear out my schedule to actually sit down and watch an entire movie and whatnot. But, that's in the future. Next week still, stay tuned for episode 14. And anyways, thank you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.